Good afternoon, Year 7. Welcome to your final remote learning lesson. Congratulations for all of your hard work so far. I am incredibly proud of every single one of you. Today, we are going to continue looking at descriptive writing. So, could you please copy down the title, date, and the learning objective? Pause the video and press play when you have those three things copied down, please. Okay, if you're back, that means you're ready to complete the do now. What I would like you to do is copy these 5 sentences and correct the spelling, punctuation, and grammar errors. Pause the video and complete the do now task, please. Okay, if you're back, that means you completed the do now and you are ready to make your purple pen corrections. As always, give it a tick if you got it right and make any additional purple pen corrections if you didn't manage to get it right. So, number 1, he dashed to the shop to buy a scrumptious cake. Buy is the correct verb there. Number 2, although he was anxious, a grin was plastered across his face. There is a comma here to separate the main and subordinate clause. Number 3, the child, who was frail and ice. Oh, sorry, the comma's in the wrong place there, just realised. It's meant to be there. The child, who was frail and ice cold, shivered instantly. That's an embedded clause. So if I was to take that embedded clause out and read the sentence, the child shivered intensely, it would still make sense. Number 4, it was almost dark and he suddenly felt fearful. Was is the correct verb there. And number 5, every minute the sunlight creeped into the bedroom. Every minute is a fronted adverbial, so you need a comma there. Pause the video and make any purple pen corrections that you need to now, please. Okay, so last Friday we looked at a zoom out paragraph, which means today we are looking at our second paragraph, our zoom in paragraph. So here is a chant that we made up to help us remember what we need to do for a zoom in paragraph. So I'm going to say zoom in, and then you're going to say position, features, and reaction to practice our chant. Okay, let's practice. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, so you should have practiced your chant. And this is the checklist that is linked to our chant. So position means that we describe the character's position to the zoom in. Features means that we describe 2 features of the zoom in, and we use this sentence to talk about it in detail. And then reaction means we describe the character's reaction to the zoom in. This is what we're going to focus on today. So last week I wrote a zoom out paragraph based on this image. And this week I'm going to use a table with our zoom in checklist to write my zoom in paragraph. You're going to watch with me. Make sure you watch carefully about what I'm putting inside each box. Some of you thought that this was a plan and wrote one-word answers. It is not a plan. We are writing full sentences in each box to describe this image and to write our zoom in paragraph. So let me just grab my pen. So my first thing is I need to describe the character's position to the zoom in. So my character is here and my zoom in is one of the main items that I'm describing. And for this, it's going to be this cathedral castle building in the background. So I'm going to say the character is kind of underneath the cathedral. So I'm going to write that I'm going to write the man looked tiny as he stared up at the how am I going to describe the cathedral? As he stared up at the old and creepy building. And then I'm going to add a full stop at the end. Okay, now I need to describe two features of the zoom in. I might not have enough room here, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. So two features of the cathedral. I might describe the clock, and I might describe like one of the little pointy things on the top there. So I'm going to do the clock first, and I'm going to use a fronted adverbial, and I'm going to write every second the clock's ticking. I could say ticking like sounded through the air, but I'm going to say echoed. The clock's ticking, echoed through the air. That's one feature. I've done the clock, and now I'm going to do the pointy thing. And I could maybe use a simile to say that it looked like a dagger. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? So I'm going to write every second the clock's ticking, echoed through the air. I'm then going to write I'm going to write although, so I'm going to use a sentence with a subordinate clause and then a main clause. So I'm going to write although the top of the building was far away, he could tell that the I don't know what they're called. What they're called points. Although the top of the building was far away, he could tell that there were daggers pointing upwards. Actually, I'm going to add there were sharp daggers. So I've described two features of my zoom in. And now I'm going to use this sentence starter here. So I'm going to write standing next to, maybe I'll say like the rusty building. That's a nice sensory piece of vocab there. The rusty building, comma, it seemed like it looks so big, like maybe he feels like he's going to be like, I don't know, like it's going to fall on him or like he'll be eaten by or something. Standing next to the rusty building, it seemed like it could fall over at any moment. Full stop. And then finally, I need to describe the character's reaction to the zoom in. I want to use a bit of colour vocabulary here because I haven't used any yet. So I might write that, I might say, suddenly the man's face grew pale as he got closer and closer. I want to put a bit of sensory, a bit of colour vocabulary, in here. Standing next to the man looked tiny as he stood up at the old and creepy building. Suddenly, the man's face grew pale as he got closer and closer. Maybe I'm going to do a little star here, and I'm going to write, standing next to the rusty brown. It's a nice way to describe the colour brown, rusty brown. Alright, so now I've used that table to write my zoom in paragraph. Let's read it. The man looked tiny as he stared up at the old and creepy building. Every second, the clock's ticking echoed through the air. Although the top of the building was far away, he could tell that there were sharp daggers pointing upwards. Standing next to the rusty building, it seemed like it could fall over at any moment. Suddenly, the man's face grew pale as he got closer and closer. Also notice that not many of my sentences start with the. This one starts with every. We have although, standing, and suddenly. So there's a variety of sentence structures here. Okay. Now, I would like you to pause the video and copy this table. Make sure you leave yourself enough room in these boxes to write your full sentences. I recommend that you copy this table on a clean half page. Pause the video and do that now, please. Okay, if you're back, you've got this table copied down, and now it's your turn. Remember this image from last week where you wrote your zoom out paragraph? Now you're going to complete the table by describing this image to write your zoom in paragraph. Remember to try to include sensory vocabulary, colour vocabulary, and also, I didn't add this in, but fronted adverbials. Pause the video and complete this task now. It should take you probably between 20 to 30 minutes. When you've done that, come back to the video, please. Okay, now you're back. That means you're ready to submit your work. Please make sure you send it to my email, not show my homework. Make sure your subject of your email says English lesson 5 and then today's date. And make sure you attach the work so that I can see it. Pause the video to keep this screen up. Once you've submitted the work, you can X off the video and continue with your lessons today. I hope you have an excellent weekend and I look forward to seeing all of your hard work. Well done.